35A to slam the Congress and National Congress alliance in Jammu and Kashmir. This for allegedly running the Pak agenda in Jammu and Kashmir assembly polls. The BJP has lashed out saying that Asif's statement endorsing NC and Congress as on the same page as Pakistan has exposed their separatist rhetoric. According to BJP, the NC and Congress is about breaking the country, releasing terrorists from jail, renaming Shankaracharya and Hari Parvat and changing reservation for SCs, STs and OBCs. In fact, BJP's Tarun Chugh, who is in charge of affairs in Jammu and Kashmir, has said that this is the dictation that the Gandhis and Abdullahs are receiving from Pakistan. Now remember, Asif's remarks came amid the ongoing assembly elections in Jammu and Kashmir, the first since the abrogation of the state's special status by the Narendra Modi-led government back in the year 2019. Also, restoring Article 370 is not merely a question of political will. It requires surmounting significant constitutional and legislative barriers. Any constitutional amendment to that end would need the support of a two-thirds majority in the Indian Parliament, a challenge that cannot be understated. So if such a restoration remains at best a distant hope, if not an outright impossibility, is the political rhetoric and promise to restore Article 370 by the NC misleading the electorate in Jammu and Kashmir? And how will it impact the Congress-NC alliance with Pakistan endorsing the NC promise? Now, the BJP has accused the Congress of towing Pakistan's line and that Pakistan and Congress are aligned and that they work with anti-India force. But is it right to say that? The Congress has been accused of giving Pakistan a handle. Former Pak Minister Fawad Hussain had shared a video featuring Rahul Gandhi where the Congress leader is targeting the BJP and Prime Minister Modi. Now, back in February of 2020, Pakistan's Foreign Minister then, Shah Mahmood Qureshi, cashed in on the joint statement of Rahul Gandhi, and 21 opposition parties over Pulwama attack questioned India. Back in September of 2019, former Pak Prime Minister Imran Khan quoted the Congress party to make a point on the curfew in Jammu and Kashmir. He said even the Congress party in India has commented that poor people have been shut inside for 50 days. No one knows what's happening with the political prisoners. Now, in September of 2019 itself, former Pak Prime Minister Imran Khan quoted the Congress to peddle his own anti-India rhetoric. During his UNGA address, he said the previous Congress Home Minister had given a statement that in RSS camps, terrorists are being trained, and that is how he justified terrorism in his own country. Now, in September in 2019 itself, Pakistan's dossier was submitted to the United Nations Human Rights Council. It alleged, citing remarks made by Rahul Gandhi and Omar Abdullah, who was then Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir. This was done by Pakistan to support its claims of atrocities in J&K. Now, in August of 2019, former Pak Minister Shireen Mazari had cited Rahul Gandhi's comment about people dying in Jammu and Kashmir in a letter on Article 370's withdrawal, and this was marked to UN officials. Back in July of 2016, Jamaat-ud-Dawa chief Hafiz Saeed, in an interview to a Pakistani news channel, had praised Congress party for taking a bold stand on Kashmir. And that is why the question we are posing today to our guests is Congress now caught in Pakistan trap? That's the big question we'll be probing in just a bit.
और जैसे कि उन्होंने प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में कहा है, बल्कि ये एक इलेक्शन इशू बनाया हुआ उन्होंने कि स्टेटस जो है रिस्टोर होना चाहिए। तो स्टेटस अगर रिस्टोर हुआ तो काफ़ी हद तक जो एक हमारा भी बड़ा एहतजाज रहा है पिछले 4-5 साल में इस इशू पे, बिल्कुल हमारा भी ये डिमांड है।
कांग्रेस नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस के अलायंस की बल्ले बल्ले हो रही है पाकिस्तान में। पाकिस्तान के डिफेंस मिनिस्टर ने कांग्रेस नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस का खुलकर समर्थन किया है पाकिस्तान से। कांग्रेस और एनसी का एजेंडा वही है जो पाकिस्तान का एजेंडा है।
370 को वक्त लगेगा, वो कोर्ट्स में जाना पड़ेगा, हर जगह जाना पड़ेगा, आएगा एक दिन।
Who is Pakistan to interfere in our matters? Number two, why is it that whenever the BJP wants something from Pakistan, a love letter comes from Pakistan like this one?
All right, and joining me on Plain Speak today is Mr. Rohan Gupta, who's the spokesperson for the Bharatiya Janata Party, Nasir Lone, who's the spokesperson of the NC, Arshpreet Kadyal, who's the spokesperson for the Congress Party, and even Lieutenant General Satish Dua is also joining me right now. Many thanks to you, gentlemen, for joining in. Rohan, if I could begin with you, first of all, I'm sure the Congress would say that no such promise of, returning to Article 370 has been made in the Congress manifesto. Then why be concerned about what the Pakistan Defence Minister is saying?
See, you cannot just say that it is not there in your manifesto. You are fighting this election in pre-poll alliance. You have seen National Conference manifesto. They are talking about talks with Pakistan, trade with Pakistan, 360, 370. NC's manifesto is very clear. When you are fighting election in pre-poll alliance, that clearly shows what are your views. And these are not my words. These are words of Pakistan Defence Minister, where he clearly says, he clearly endorses views of Congress and NC. So I think the question is that why our opposition, why our enemies are supporting your views. This is the first time in history of Indian politics the opposition party is supported by our enemy, and still they have no answer for that. So I think there are questions which Congress party and NC needs to answer, that why Pakistan is happy with their stance. If your enemy is happy with your stance, it means that stance is wrong. So I think Congress will have to come clean what is their clear-cut agenda for future. Otherwise, people of the country will not leave them.
All right, Arshpreet Kadyal, let's have it straight from the horse's mouth. What explains the Congress party's silence when all of this chatter is going on? We've heard National Conference's view. It's very much on the manifesto, and you may say that you've not made any such promise, but you're very much in alliance with the NC. So what explains the silence?
Well, the logic that has been given by the Bharatiya Janata Party and the spokesperson here is that a person has supported your statement, therefore you are responsible for that. That is the logic that they've given. First and foremost, if Mr. Modi gives a statement and an ABC or any sort of person with any sort of history, background, character comments upon it, supports the statement of Mr. Modi, would it have anything to do with Mr. Modi? Would Mr. Modi be held responsible for that? Would he be accountable for that? And if you do give this logic and if you're ready to implement it on yourself, I won't give you examples of these kind of people supporting your statements. I'll give you example of Tariq Ahmad Mir, a person who was given ticket by the Bharatiya Janata Party in 2014, who was arrested in 2020 by the NIA because he was procuring weapons for Hizbul Mujahideen commander Naveed Babu. I'll give you an example of Talib Hussain Shah, the BJP's office bearer, who was Lashkar-e-Taiba's terrorist, who was captured by the locals. I'll give an example of Dhruv Saxena, 2017 BJP office bearer who was found to have links with the ISI.
All right, I'm going to actually take those examples from Rohan Gupta, but you've still not answered my question. Why not go on record and condemn everything that is being said by Khwaja Asif today?
Well, number one, it has not. I mean, the logic that I've given makes it crystal clear as to why we do not have to respond to that. It has nothing to do with us. It has nothing to do
with you when you are in an alliance with NC that has promised to come back or return to Article 370. What is the Congress position is very important. You release your manifesto on last day of campaigning. Still, nobody knows if you will continue your support as far as NC is concerned when it comes to the promise of returning to Article 370. There's been no talk about that. There's been no condemnation. This when Rahul Gandhi himself said that, they do not approve of the kind of terror that is emanating from Pakistan. And so what is your position when it comes to trade and dialogue with Pakistan, something that's been endorsed in the NC manifesto?
Our position is one, that the BJP gives us Pegasus for a day so that we can tell who, gives a direction from here, and it gets followed in Pakistan by the top leadership, by the ministers. Number two, we all remember the Pakistan frame that the BJP has when Mr. Modi went to Pakistan, hugged Nawaz Sharif, the then Prime Minister, had Kashmiri chai with him, had biryani with him, broke the protocol, sat in his chopper. The very country's
Ashpreet, you
Prime
have
Minister
still
who
not
forcefully
answered the question. You are harping back to what happened in the past.
You asked a
Two
question.
wrongs will
I
not make a
answered.
right.
Nobody is saying that. I'm answering a question. It has nothing to do with us. It's not in our manifesto. We haven't said it. However, the BJP...
But you are in alliance with NC.
If
Rohan
I may,
Gupta,
if I may,
please go ahead.
The BJP had terrorists in their party.
You
Okay,
are
what
trying
about
to ask a
giving
very
tickets
simple,
to terrorists? Rohan Gupta.
a very simple
They
question
had in the
to
party.
Congress spokesperson, and he is not answering the question because he doesn't know the answer. See, the question is very, very simple. When you are in triple alliance with somebody and they declare the manifesto, either you have to say you are with them or you are not with them. You cannot be everywhere. They are very, very clear. NC's manifesto has been very clear. They want separate flag. They will return Article 370. They want trade with Pakistan. They want talks with Pakistan. The question is very simple, whether Congress party endorses these views or not. If not, then why they are in triple alliance? Number two, now Pakistan has also endorsed this view. So does that mean that our enemy Pakistan, don't speak in between. I never spoke in between, right? So does that mean that if Pakistan stands, if Pakistan wants return of 370, do you feel that is good for the country? I think it's a big question to a national party. It's not only about Jammu and Kashmir. It's a repercussion, since Congress is the national party, the repercussion is all across the country. You cannot just play around in between. Not here, not there. You should
Nasir
be very
Lone,
clear.
I'd like
Either
to bring you
with
in.
them
Okay,
or
let me
not
also
without
bring
them.
in the National Conference spokesperson, Nasir Lone. Nasir, I'm sure such a pre-poll alliance wouldn't have happened without support from the Congress party. NC is very clear that there is support coming in. What has given the Pak Defence Minister the kind of confidence to say so, that they are on the same page as Pakistan today, if the Congress was not, if actively and verbally, but silently supporting your manifesto?
My first and foremost, good evening to everyone, first of all. My first and foremost question to all of you is what is the problem with Article 370? Article 370 was given by Indian Constitution. It was way within the ambit of the Indian Constitution. It was the link that, joined the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir with the Union of India. What is the problem?
I'll tell you what the problem is. You tried to pass a resolution in the year 2000 to restore the status of Jammu and Kashmir prior to what it was before 1953. That resolution failed. It completely bombed. And once it's already bombed, why would you bring a false promise to the people of Jammu and Kashmir?
It is something. It is
that happened during Farooq Abdullah's time as well, and you don't seem to have learnt your lesson.
Okay, it is not a false promise. It's absolutely that we believe in. It is what we consider as the right of every citizen of Jammu and Kashmir. It is something that was promised to the people of Jammu and Kashmir. It was something that was given by the Parliament of India to the people of Jammu and Kashmir. So we see no wrong in asking for our own right. Two, the abrogation of Article 370 was done in absence of any elected government, any elected representative, any elected member from the Jammu and Kashmir Assembly. So, and coming back to what the BJP spokesperson was saying about Congress, they should actually ask themselves, when they made an alliance with the PDP in 2014, what was PDP's manifesto? Were they against Article 370? No. They talked about self-rule. They endorsed the 370. They spoke about talking with Pakistan. They spoke about trade with Pakistan. Why did the BJP form the government with them? Why was
I'm sure Rohan Gupta, you'd like to respond to that. That's a very valid question being posed by Nasir Lone.
Absolutely. Akanksha, I don't shy away from the questions, and I will answer the question. But after that, I need answer from Congress and NC both. See, there is a difference between pre-poll alliance and a post-poll alliance. That was the election where there was no clear-cut majority to any party. And after the elections, if you form the government, obviously there will be common minimum program where you don't agree with all the points. But when you go into pre-poll alliance, it is a very clear-cut thing that both the parties align in their manifesto. And that is the question Congress party is not able to answer. Akanksha, it's not about one state. Again, I am telling you, Jammu Kashmir is a very crucial state to us. Maybe NC can have their own compulsions. But the question is to Congress party, what is their stand? They are not very clear on 370. They are dilly-dallying both the seas. You cannot go do like that. Because if Pakistan is supporting, endorsing your views, there is something seriously wrong with your view. Same way, if Pannu, the terrorist, he supports Congress party leaders' views, then there is something serious with their views. So that question needs to be asked,
Okay,
and there should be
and that's
very,
a
very
question
clear
I'll be
what is
taking
that
from
agenda.
Arshpreet, but let me quickly go across to Lieutenant General Dua. Sir, thank you so much for so patiently awaiting your turn. Since I was referring to what we've seen happen to that resolution in the year 2000, do you think that such a new promise is only based on a failed legacy, since we've seen what happened to that resolution, and that the priorities of the electorate of Jammu and Kashmir have already changed? They know what the security apparatus was like prior to the abrogation of Article 370. Do you not think that this is also misleading the people of Jammu and Kashmir?
Thank you for giving me the opportunity after all the politics is done. Allow me to start
Sure.
by saying, that unlike the Pakistan army, Indian army is totally apolitical. So I will steer clear of any political views. Um, about the security situation, uh, you are absolutely right to say that over the last 5 years, situation in Jammu and Kashmir has actually improved. There is whether it is terrorist violence or violence on the streets, stone pelting incidents have come down to practically nil. Schools are opening. There are no bands and hartals. Markets are opening. Tourists are coming in. So investment is flowing in. A lot of uh, uh, development activities are taking place. Panchayat election, there is a three-tier panchayat in place. The Lok Sabha assemblies were Lok Sabha elections were held peacefully. Now, my point is, yesterday's elections, the first phase, has
Yes.
also shown that there is a very healthy turnout. In fact, we were not expecting such good turnout from certain seats in South Kashmir, certain polling booths in South Kashmir, yet it has happened. And this is the best way for the political process. The whole state, all these parties that are participating in in this discussion as well as in the poll process, wanted political process to start. The political process has started, and I think for once, instead of making having differences, I think I urge all the political parties, in fact, all stakeholders, to for rise above their differences only as far as the political process, the poll process is concerned, and put India first for now.
All right.
And the voters have spoken. The voters have come out in large numbers. They will decide who will form the government and their policies. I will steer clear of the discussion that is going on right now. But to my mind, it is India's victory. It is the victory of the people, that we are having the political process and people are coming out in such healthy numbers, and having a peaceful
All
elections, and
right.
the
All
remaining.
right. On that note, Arshpreet, I'm going to, in fact, also quote what the Home Minister has had to say. He's categorically questioned why is Rahul Gandhi silent, because it's not like Rahul Gandhi is not spoken up in the past. Back in the year 2019, he did not mince his words when he wanted to tell Pakistan to shut up, because as far as Kashmir is concerned, he went on X, which was Twitter back then, to say that, this is our internal matter. Why can't he do that now? Also, the BJP charges that if he's being silent, he should also understand that by returning to Article 370, we also go back to changes in the constitution. There will be different constitution for the people of Jammu and Kashmir, and then what happens to the reservation that's been brought in by the Indian government for the Bakarwals, the Gujars over there in Jammu and Kashmir. This especially when the Congress party tom-toms about how it is so pro-reservation.
Now, kindly allow me a minute uninterrupted. I'll answer all these questions. Now, the BJP needs to give up their double standards, because the BJP is given a logic. They say, although Congress has not said it, although Congress has not mentioned it in the manifesto, but because your ally has said it, it gets attributed to the whole party. It becomes your stand. If this is the logic of the Bharatiya Janata Party, why don't you lead by example? A Shiv Sena MLA has said, whoever gets me Rahul Gandhi's tongue, I'll pay him 11 lakh rupees, which is an offense. He's inciting, he's provoking people to do this, instigating people to commit an offense. Can this be attributed to the entire Bharatiya Janata Party, their leadership? And will the Bharatiya Janata Party have an FIR registered against them, their own leaders, for having said this? And number two, another leader of the Bharatiya Janata Party said to Mr. Gandhi, recall what happened to your grandmother. and another leader said of the Bharatiya Janata Party that your
Then
son
by
will
that
be-
logic,
So that should be
Arshpreet,
attributed to the leadership
Rahul
of
Gandhi
Bharatiya
is
Janata
being
Party.
endorsed by a
Akansha.
terrorist like Pannu.
How-
He's
one second,
endorsed
I'm
his
answering your
views.
question. 1 second.
Then why are you
I'll
being
answer.
endorsed by anti-India forces? That's the question the
No,
BJP
I'll-
can
I'll
also
answer.
pose.
No.
Why
I'll
a
answer
question
that
for a
question.
question? Why can't we just have a discussion
I'll
and come up with a response to a question?
It is very unfortunate that in a democracy, the opposition is expected to answer, but not the government. My question to the BJP is, you talked to Mr. Pannu. Here, a statement is given by Mr. Rahul Gandhi. Now, what does it have to do with Mr. Gandhi or the Congress party if any ABC supports it, condemns it? What does it have to do with us? But if
I'll tell you.
wants to go by
I'll
this
tell you what
logic,
the problem
if I-
is. Because in
if
the
I may please
UNHCR
complete,
dossier,
if I may please
Pakistan
complete,
uses
if
those
I
very
may,
comments
if I may,
to
if I
justify
may,
its
if I
actions
may.
against
I'll tell you
India
what, I'll tell
and
you
for
what.
promoting terrorism.
Absolutely.
That is why it is important that the opposition knows when to speak and where to speak and what to speak about.
Absolutely.
1 second, please. I'll tell you what. Let alone supporting these kind of statements, and let alone terrorist supporting or people with ISI links. These people are there in the Bharatiya Janata Party, have been there in the Bharatiya Janata Party. I've given you 4 examples. Number 2, all I want to say is that people are very smart. They can see, they can connect the dots. That Mr. Gandhi makes a statement. Mr. Pannu supports it. Everybody knows who benefits and who loses because of this. And the Bharatiya Janata Party should go ahead and give us Pegasus for a day's time.
All right.
We'll tell
Rohan
you who's
Gupta,
issuing the
how do you
direction
respond to
and
what
where is it
Arshpreet is
coming
saying? He's
from.
still
I think
not
you
answered
have-
my question.
Absolutely, Akanksha. I think, and you have said it well. Why the questions are asked to opposition? Because if your enemy country uses your statement, supports them, if a terrorist like Pannu supports your statement, obviously the questions will be asked to you. It is not about politics. It is about the external affairs, where opposition party needs to be responsible. When you are commenting on the issues which can have impact on the international aspects, I think you should be very careful. Number 1. Number 2, again coming back to 370, you have been asking Akansha this question again and again to Congress spokesman. He has no clear answer. Where my friend from NC is very clear that they want to take 370 back. You have established peace. Please don't speak between. I was not talking in between. This is not the way. Please let me complete. Please let me complete. Don't speak in between. I was not speaking in between. Akansha, let me complete. I don't do debate
Right,
like this.
please go ahead.
My
I'm
question
going
is
to
very
Arshpreet
simple.
give you time. I see even Nasir wants to make a point. So,
my
Rohan, please
point
quickly
is,
make your point.
Akansha, very, very simple. I just want to close my comments by saying that Congress needs to bring clarity. If Jammu Kashmir, as I think one of the dignitaries on the panel, he clearly said there is peace in Jammu Kashmir. The process is coming back. When people are participating in this festival of democracy, opposition needs to be very, very responsible. They need to know what they are speaking cannot be used by countries like Pakistan, who are always against us, and they will use it. So we need to be very, very careful. It's not about winning one state or losing one state. It is about the whole country, about the Jammu Kashmir, about external affairs. So you need to be very, very careful. Number 1. Number 2, Congress will have to come very, very clean or their stand on 370, whether they want 370 back or not. Simple. Forget about NC. What NC has said, whether they endorse it or not.
Right.
But what is the stand of Congress
All right,
party? Can we say that?
Arshpreet, go ahead.
Thank you. You
Nasir,
remember
I'll come
Mr.
to you as well.
Thank you, Mr. Amit Shah back in the day had said after 370 is done away with, terrorism would end in Jammu and Kashmir. Will Mr. Amit Shah resign because he lied?
Why
because,
you are asking questions? I'm asking you simple questions, man. Whether Congress supports 370 or not.
No, listen. You remember Pulwama happened. You remember Pulwama happened and the former
Again, you are not answering the question whether Congress party supports 370, yes or no. It's a clear-cut question. You are not having any answer.
What is
Ask him a simple question, whether Congress party wants 370 back, yes or no.
Who was behind
yes or no?
Whose accountability has been fixed?
There is no answer. I'm asking about your party stand, whether Congress party supports 370 or not. You are not answering. You are going here and there. The whole country is watching Akash. You need to answer. You need to have clarity whether you want to support 370 or not. You don't have any answer. So Akash, the whole country sees that
also
Congress
tied
party doesn't have
ISI
clear-cut
to
answer on
Pathankot
370.
airbase.
And that is the
One
whole
second, one
problem.
question.
Where
Mr.
the
Gupta, hear
party
me out.
statement is
Mr.
used
Gupta, hear
by
me out.
countries like
ISI
Pakistan,
was
and
allowed
they are
into
still
Pathankot
very
airbase.
clear on national
You
TV
allowed
about
ISI
their
to
stand.
Pathankot
It's
airbase
a
or
serious
not?
situation.
Why
You
did
cannot do
BJP?
this. You are a
Why did
national
you
party. You
allow
need to be
All right.
responsible.
ISI to
You are not
Pathankot
Let me
acting
also
airbase?
listen in from Nasir. Nasir, I think, what also surprises us is when it comes to, say, the execution of Afzal Guru. The fact is that we've heard an Omar Abdullah say that we had nothing to do with that execution, and that he's in fact also displayed his regret and remorse towards how it was an unfair execution. If he had nothing to do with Afzal Guru's execution back then, why did he have to do anything to do with his execution during election campaigning for Jammu and Kashmir now?
No, because it is what it is. It's a fact that he was executed in the middle of the night without following. He had already applied for a president's plea, which was in a queue, and it was jumped, and his plea was rejected, and then he was hanged overnight, which was unfair. So saying
If it
that
was
it was
unfair,
not
then
right,
Nasir, you'll also agree that that execution happened during the UPA government. Why hasn't Mr. Abdullah then raised questions to the Congress party? Arshpreet, back then also when that comment was made, that execution happened during your party's regime. Why was the Congress party silent when Omar Abdullah made that statement?
Can I? I wanted to make two
All right,
quick points
let Nasir
for my
finish
friend.
his point. Arshpreet, I'll give you
Yeah, yeah.
time. Nasir, please go ahead.
I wanted to make two quick points for my friend Rohan. Why does BJP have double standards? When it comes to Nagaland, they are ready to talk to the extremists there. They're ready to give them a separate flag. They're ready to give them a special provision. But when it comes to the state of Jammu and Kashmir, suddenly they feel that no, we should not have any special status. We should not have a separate flag or whatever.
But independents are
370
fighting
gave us.
election.
Can I finish? The other thing is, I think they have no right. They have no right to say that they are celebrating the festival of democracy today. They did not conduct elections in the past 5 years. It took us a Supreme Court order for these elections to happen. So they have absolutely no right to say that we should celebrate this festival of democracy today. Anyone but BJP has the right to celebrate it. Why? Because they did not let these elections happen. Do they have an answer for that?
All right, Arshpreet, I'll quickly take your comments on the question I was posing about Afzal Guru and the comments that had been made by Omar Abdullah before I go back to Rohan.
Yeah, I only have one thing to say, that the Bharatiya Janata Party needs to start practicing what they preach. Why was ISI allowed into Pathankot airbase? Why did you not field a candidate in Jammu and Kashmir if it was as you had expected it to be after the abrogation of Article 370? Why did Mr. Modi only visit Jammu and Kashmir just once in 5 years? Why did you not prefer to restore statehood expeditiously? Why did you not want to conduct elections expeditiously? Why did people have to go to the court? And why does the Bharatiya Janata Party not ensure that the people of Jammu and Kashmir are heard? They need employment there. They need safety and security there. Exoduses have been happening because of you. Kashmiri Pandits have been leaving. People who got jobs in Jammu and Kashmir have been leaving because you failed them. Your promises failed them. They turned out to be hollow. And one more thing. The Bharatiya Janata Party, the logic that they've given, your ally has said this, your allies have made these kind of remarks that I talked of, Mr. Gandhi's tongue should be cut and whatnot. You should take responsibility for that. Have an FIR registered against yourself. Then you give us this logic, or else do not practice.
All right, Rohan Gupta, I'd quickly like you to take a rebuttal as far as Arshpreet and Nasir's comments are concerned before I quickly go across to Lieutenant General Dua for his closing
See, the
comments.
whole country has seen, Congress party has been playing with the politics of reservation. After removing Article 370, the benefits of reservation are available to people of Jammu and Kashmir. Number one, we see the tourist fall, the people of country visiting Kashmir from across the world. You see the increase. It is that the employment is given. The people are happy there. So I think the way these people are trying to disrupt after the achievements after 370, that is surprising. And again, I am telling you, as a Congress party national, why you are speaking in between, friend? I never spoke in between. This is not the way to debate.
Nasir, please let him make his point. Arshpreet going to request you as well. Please, Rohan, go ahead, make your point.
I am very clear. I am very clear. As a Congress, as a national party, if you are not clear on your stand, that is a dangerous situation because your leader goes out of country, he is LOP, he speaks on the issues which are sensitive to the country. People like Pannu, people like Pakistan, a country like Pakistan, they take benefit. It's not allowed. You should be very crystal clear. Either you are with 370 or you are against 370. You cannot be in between. You cannot talk both the sides. You have to be very clear because you are playing dangerous game by going outside the country and talking about the country's sensitive issues. You should not do that. I am very clear that people of Jammu Kashmir, they know what are the benefits of removing 370. They are with BJP. They want the benefits of reservation, and the country, the JNK is now in the mainstream of the India, and we will see in future how JNK will progress.
General Dua, I know you will say that you don't want to get into the politics of it, but as somebody who's a neutral commentator on this show, I'd like to end with your thoughts and perhaps also allude to the year 1994 when then Prime Minister Mr. P.V. Narasimha Rao had in fact sent the then leader of opposition Atal Bihari Vajpayee to argue for the case of Kashmir at the UN, and guess who he was accompanied by Mr. Farooq Abdullah and the External Affairs Minister back then, Mr. Salman Khurshid. Do you think that kind of opposition unity helped India to rally for the cause of Kashmir and save us from sanctions at the UN back then? Why can't we see the same kind of opposition unity, perhaps something that could only benefit the security of our country?
Thank you, Akanksha, for bringing out that beautiful example of 1994, because like I also said earlier, I think this is the time we have to rise above our differences as far as the process is concerned, because the voter has turned out in resounding numbers. The political parties will have their differences, but today is the time that we have to put India first, and keeping all the differences apart, like the 1994 example. That is how we need to rise above and come together. The verdict will be given by the voter, but we need to ensure that by keeping India first, we make Jammu and Kashmir a very vibrant and democratic state. Hopefully, it will be a state soon, and bring development and peace to the state that it really richly deserves.
Absolutely. Many thanks to you, General Dua, for those very balanced views, because I'm sure it is about national governance more than just smart politics. I'll have to leave it at that. Many thanks to you, gentlemen, for joining in on Plain Speak today. And with that, let's now shift focus over to another controversy that's brewing in Andhra Pradesh this time. Tirupati Balaji Temple is the world's wealthiest Hindu shrine, drawing millions of devotees annually, and dedicated to Lord Venkateshwara, is one of the most revered shrines in India. But this shrine is now embroiled in a massive controversy. Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu has alleged that the sanctity of the temple has been compromised during Jagan's tenure. Chief Minister Naidu has alleged that animal fat was used for preparing sacred offerings at the Tirumala temple. YSRCP has now called these allegations leveled by Naidu malicious. YSRCP even warned of legal action if Chandrababu Naidu fails to prove the charges. But let's also tell you what the test report highlights. The laddus were adulterated with animal fat. That's the biggest point of concern over here. Now, animal fats have been detected in ghee that was used for these laddus. Beef tallow and pig lard have been used in Tirupati Prasad. Fish oil also has been detected in the Tirupati Prasad. And that is why the question we come to is, who is hurting the devotees' astha? That is the question we'll be posing to our guests in just a bit. But before that, we have some breaking inputs, in fact, coming in. We'll go to them in just a bit.
వెంకటేశ్వర స్వామి పవిత్రతను దెబ్బతీశారు. ఎన్నోసార్లు చెప్పాం, అక్కడ ఎంత దుర్మార్గంగా ప్రయత్నం చేశారంటే అంత దుర్మార్గంగా ప్రవర్తించారు.
In a preliminary report which was submitted by the Vigilance Department, it was stated that funds to the tune of 530 crore were looted. This is a preliminary estimation.
he has any proof, let him come and prove. Otherwise, I am ready to go and take oath before Lord Venkateshwara. During that 5 years of our governance, nothing has happened like what he has commented.
All right, and before we go to our guests, we have breaking inputs coming in. In fact, Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu, in an exclusive interview to CNN News 18, has in fact asked for an investigation and demanded answers from YSRCP for insulting Hindu faith. Ram Mohan Naidu even highlights that in the last 5 years, during the YSRCP government, there were many complaints on the quality of the laddus, but nothing was done. And so, Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu also urging for an investigation, but he's also talked about how there were complaints. He's highlighted that in the last 5 years during the YSRCP tenure, there were complaints which were in fact left unattended, unheard by the YSRCP government. On that note, let's quickly go across to our guests. I'm joined in by Mr. Narayanan Murthy, who's a spokesperson for the YSRCP, Mr. Deepak Reddy, who's a spokesperson for the TDP. In fact, Mr. Murthy, I just want to ask you, what is your thought when you look at the test report? I have the test report with me. It categorically states that there's been animal lard found, pig fat, fish oil, not to forget even beef fat. We have the report over here with us, and that's the test report which is stating so. Why hasn't action been taken earlier, as is also being now asked by Ram Mohan Naidu? I'm going to request you to unmute yourself, please.
Manipulated test reports they are showing in these TV debates. Now I am telling you, EO of Tirupati Tirumala Devasthanam, TTD, EO Shyamal Rao, told very clearly that is vegetable fat. They don't know what fat it is without any proof, baseless allegations made by Chandrababu Naidu, who is senior leader and Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh. This is not correct. This is agitation, this is attack, this is a terror, terrifying the Hindu devotees and devotees of Lord Venkateshwara, which is largest, biggest temple in the world. Crores and crores of devotees are suffering with this statement. Unknowingly, Chandrababu Naidu is attacking Hindu devotees of Venkateshwara, Lord Venkateshwara.
No, but if that is what the report is saying, why are you saying that it is attacking the Hindu Astha? It's in fact, if going by the test report, we are glad that this has come to light. Otherwise, ignorance is bliss, is it?
That's what I'm telling. We are going to court also. We are going to court and they have to prove it. Baseless allegations. Our chairman, former chairman, Y.V. Subbareddy Garu, he is a twice chairman for the TTD temple. He challenged. He told very clearly a few hours back. They are unnecessarily baseless allegations.
All right, Mr. Deepak Reddy,
because
I think I'm going to give you time. I've given you ample time, sir. Let me also bring in Deepak Reddy. Deepak Reddy, I think YSRCP has also gone on to state that these laddus are also prepared by the Sri Vaishnava clan and that they are devout devotees. And so it has nothing to do with the board members or any officers. Henceforth, the charge that there could have been some kind of vested interest with regards to money involved in it is baseless.
I need a minute time because the people have to understand, what exactly has happened. I need to get into certain details. Both the chairmen during the YSR time were one uncle and a close relative of YS Jagan Mohan Reddy. And the ghee would be actually sourced from government bodies from Karnataka and from Andhra. And Nandini Dairy, which is a government dairy from Karnataka, was supplying for 50 years. But once the YCP government came in, they scrapped that system and got in these new vendor system. And I have a clipping here. The head of Nandini has given a paper statement saying that we are doing it for the Lord at no profit basis. If somebody quotes below than this, there is a chance of being adulterated. This was cautioned way back a few years ago. So this is something not which I have come up with. It is an old paper cutting. And TTD official website, this thing was there, which said that a vigilance inquiry has taken place and the adulteration was found. And after thorough study, they have given a show cause notice, and one person was blacklisted also. So this is something which has been put out by TTD. And today's newspaper clippings, 520 crores siphoned off with preliminary checking, and the details that we have to go.
520 crores is today. In fact, I'm going to bring in Mr. Murthy on that note. Mr. Murthy, the charge that has been heard by the BJP in Andhra is that your government tried to divert funds, in fact, worth 5,000 crore rupees from the TTD's exchequer. How do you respond to those charges now?
All funds from the TT used for only development of the temples across the state. Each and every place, there are temples. They are donating the money from the TTD to develop those temples and maintain those temples in the villages. And
but Mr. Murthy, the charge is also that people with criminal history were nominated on the TTD board. And that is why they were only looking towards releasing tender to people who they were perhaps knowing of. Totally baseless. Totally false allegation. It's very convenient to say it's false and it's baseless. It is untruth. It is untruth. Baseless. False allegations. Yes, even, see, nomination is being taken by the government from the different reservations, from the different states, different areas and different categories. Yes, it is baseless. Mr. Deepak Reddy, it's a massive charge. I don't want to tell. Let me come in. That's why. Let me, in fact, Andhra Pradesh. I don't want to. Let me bring in Deepak Reddy. Mr. Reddy, it's a massive charge, as the YSRCP has been claiming that this is also an attack on the Hindu Astha. Making such an attack without any prior investigation, that's also not going to speak well of your government, which is why, what is the TDP now going to do? Will you be calling in for a CBI investigation, as is also being demanded by the Bharatiya Janata Party?
Ma'am, let me be very clear. When it comes to YSRCP party, truth is a very big casualty. So that is why whenever I come to a debate, when the opposite side, there is a YSR person, I do my study and I get all the data. So what I just showed you now is historic data and what is on paper. So this was something which came out of an internal inquiry by the vigilance department of the temple. So these people are ending up telling that, even that is wrong. So now Chandrababu Naidu ji, as our chief minister, has taken this very seriously. He is going to put an inquiry into the whole issue, and they're going to get to the root of the cause, and all the people who are actually related to this offense will be punished in a very severe manner, because this is the sentiment of millions of Hindus. Let me tell you one thing. Jagan Mohan Reddy and his family are Christians. We have no problem with that. But all we were telling him was, when he was a CM, when you go there, he has to sign a declaration. So all non-Hindus who visit the temple have to sign a declaration saying that they respect the Lord. Jagan never did that. Not one. Multiple such issues were raised, and they disrespected the Hindu traditions. And you would also know that 350 temples have been desecrated during Jagan Mohan Reddy's tenure. Until now, they could not get to the root of that.
Right. Mr. Murthy, I think it's a very valid question, one that merits the fact that you are saying that that the remarks coming in from Chandrababu Naidu are an attack on the entire Hindu community. But going by the findings of the test report, don't you think that's an insult to the Hindu Astha itself?
I am telling he is insulting Hinduism. I am telling he is attacking on the devotees of Lord Venkateshwara. I am telling terrifying, terrorizing Hindu devotees and Lord Venkateshwara devotees by telling these baseless allegations.
So are you saying that the test report is baseless as well? Are you saying that the test report is baseless?
That's what I am telling. Let them prove it. We are also going to Supreme Court. We are fighting. In fact, Supreme Court has to take voluntarily the case. Because this is not a matter of one person or 100 people or one village or one state. It is a matter of a respect of across Hindus, across world, across India, across world. Crores and crores of Hindus. No, respect it is, self-respect. They're attacking on the self-respect of Hindus. Yes, they're insulting. They're attacking.
Mr. Deepak
They're
Reddy,
misusing Lord Venkateshwara temple.
I mean,
the question that also merits towards the TTP is that what has the TTP done so far? Why aren't you banning the sale of these orders?
Let me tell you, since the national media is not really used to the style of YSR, they blatantly lie. Just before the elections, one minute, please hold on. Please be patient for a minute, Mr. Anandmurthy. Mr. Murthy, please be patient for a second. Just before the elections, the only word what we would hear from the YCP people was, why not 175? We are going to win all the 175 seats.
That's
but the people of Andhra Pradesh did not give them the status of opposition also because they were blatantly lying, blatantly disrespecting the Hindu tradition.
Mr. Reddy and Mr. Murthy, I'm sorry to interrupt you there. In fact, I'm getting in breaking inputs as we were talking about the reactions coming in from the TDP. In fact, Union Civil Aviation Minister Mr. Ram Mohan Naidu, in an exclusive interview to CNN News 18, has asked for an investigation and demanded answers from YSRCP for insulting the Hindu faith. Naidu even highlights that in the last 5 years during the YSRCP government, there were many complaints on the quality of the laddu which were left unheard. Let's also listen in to what Ram Mohan Naidu has to say.
Ram Mohan, even if we want to speak about the 100 days development, but what has come to the fore is a very, very disturbing incident that we've seen pan out in Andhra Pradesh. Tirupati Devasthanam board, which is said to be very, very important and very, very spiritual as far as the country is concerned. The controversy around the adulteration of the laddus, animal fat being used. What do you have to really say, even though the YSR Congress is saying that they are saying that this is political vendetta of the...
No, first of all, I don't think they have any right to speak in this issue. It is outrageous and it is equally shocking for a temple of such great importance. Tirupati is not just a mere temple just like any other temple. It is the highest visited Hindu temple in the whole world, with people up to 2 and 3 lakhs also visiting per day, and a temple which has such strong significance and which is always a pride for people of Andhra also, that there are people coming from Hindus coming from across the country and across the world. And I have to also be honest and say that there are people of multiple faiths also coming, and they have so much vishwas on Lord Balaji that they come. And one of the important factors when they come and visit Balaji is that they take away from them. One is the blessings of Lord Balaji, and the takeaway from the temple is the laddu itself. And to manipulate that whole thing and to adulterate that laddu itself, I don't think anyone in their dreams also would imagine to do it. But that has become a reality today, and it is very, very shocking, and I think it has to be probed further, and the people who have succumbed to this have to face the law.
All right, let me quickly bring in Mr. Murthy and Mr. Reddy on that note. Mr. Murthy, how do you respond to what Ram Mohan Naidu is saying? I'm giving you closing thoughts.
Ram Mohan is not having a knowledge. The people, pilgrims visiting Tirupati Tirumala Devasthanam, TTD, Tirumala every day. He is talking about 2 and 3 lakhs. 2 to 3 lakhs every day. You don't have a knowledge. How many people visiting Tirupati? Let them check and talk. Being a central minister, being in a responsible position, you should talk facts. How many people are visiting? Ask MLC, is there. This is what statements they are making. Telugu Desam people. Unknowingly they make statements, and then they'll take back. They'll foolish pilgrims, they're foolish devotees of Lord Venkateshwara, foolish Hindu devotees. They should know facts and figures.
All right. Now, the ball certainly comes to the TDP's court. Mr. Deepak Reddy, what is the TDP going to do about it? A, not to forget the fact that we have reports from 2017 which also go on to indicate that the TTD was incurring losses worth 140 crore rupees annually only because the laddus were being sold for at a subsidized rate. I know this is another crucial aspect of the entire issue, but what will the current Chandrababu Naidu government do about this in Andhra? Is it just about calling in for a CBI investigation to prove the charges that have been hurled by your government against the YSRCP, or is this also time that TTD as a board also be regulated?
Ma'am, I'm really surprised to see the kind of a response. People from around the world are agitated with this news. So Chandrababu Naidu ji is looking at it very seriously. A detailed inquiry would be done. No matter what the YCP gentleman has told, the fact of the matter is, this is the original copy of the test report, which was done by a government lab. So the facts talk for themselves. Please,
Mr. Murthy, I've given you time to speak. Let Mr. Reddy finish his point. I just have 10 seconds to give him. Mr. Reddy, please go ahead, finish your point.
So clearly the facts are on paper, and the test report, the variables are clearly mentioned. And 5 years before,
all
the
right.
chairman
I'm sure a detailed investigation, perhaps as demanded by the BJP of a central agency, would perhaps rule out the facts over there. Many thanks to you, Mr. Reddy and Mr. Murthy, for joining in on Plain Speak. Up next is the Hard Facts with Rahul Shivshak.
Minister Narendra Modi will be embarking on a landmark 3-day visit to the United States of America. Mr. Modi would be first going to Wilmington in Delaware for a Quad Leader Summit. On September the 22nd, the Prime Minister will be in New York, where he would hold a big community event for the Indian diaspora in Long Island. On the 23rd of September, the Prime Minister will be attending the UNGA's Summit of the Future. CNN News 18 will be in the US to track every engagement of the Prime Minister.
Co-powered by
خلي لحظة ما يصير أنا بتربي يا